At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career. Ew. Or the right relationship.
but whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
First of all, Jeff and Lauren, congratulations on your nuptials. Second of all, you can spend your money as you please. Third of all, what the f*** are you all thinking? Norman Chad. Norman Chad. Welcome to Gambling Mad with Norman Chad. I am Norman Chad. Coming up on the program today, how much money can Jeff Bezos spend on a wedding? How much money can MrBeast spend at Disneyland? And how much money can get Marjorie Taylor Greene to leave America? Plus, I'll have my personal World Series of Poker update. It is not pretty. Gambling Mad, as always, brought to you by Fritos, picked fresh off of Central California trees every morning, delivered directly to your local retailer every afternoon. And by the refreshing taste of Fresca. Fritos and Fresca, it's a meal. Today, we have a theme. Money corrupts. Power corrupts. Money and power corrupt. I think I'm on fairly safe ground here thematically. Let's start with the Jeff Bezos, Lauren Sanchez wedding. First of all, Jeff and Lauren, congratulations on your nuptials. Second of all, you can spend your money as you please. Third of all, what the f*** are you all thinking? $50 million. Now, admittedly, when the bride's engagement ring cost $5 million, $50 million for a 3-day wedding celebration in Venice, Italy might seem reasonable. 90 private jets made their way to Venice for the wedding. My best man came to my second wedding in a VW Beetle. Speaking of which, I have the experience here. Speaking of which, I have a hard and fast rule on weddings. Your first one, make it as big as you wish. Your second one, scale it down from your first one. Your third one, it should be at a courthouse with a single witness. Yeah, Jeff, we know you're the second or third richest person in the world, but you don't have to flaunt it 24/7. In fact, considering the world around us at this very moment, it's probably bad optics to host a $50 million wedding weekend. If he had just spent, say, $1 million on the ordeal, and you can get away for under $1 million for a large wedding party, especially if it includes a Ramada Inn, then Bezos could have used the other $49 million to try and resuscitate the Washington Post, which he bought as a play toy in 2013. And frankly, Lauren Sanchez's welfare and happiness should take a backseat to the Washington Post's welfare and happiness. Democracy depends on it. That brings us to MrBeast. Who doesn't love MrBeast? He is a 20-something with 412 million YouTube subscribers. I am a 60-something with 1,300 YouTube subscribers. He is known as a YouTube philanthropist. I am known as a YouTube failure. Hey, who's writing this stuff? We're judging people now on how many YouTube followers they have? Jeez. I'm not sure MrBeast, he gives away money and he funds cataract surgeries and he builds wells in Africa and he finances environmental initiatives, okay? But they say if you can change just one person's life for the better, you're doing a good job. Well, my wife, Tony, wakes up every morning early so that she can get out of the house without seeing me. There you go. I get her off to a bright and early start to her day. That is real impact. Anyway, I don't want to tell MrBeast how to spend his money, but he decided to plan a special date with his fiancée, Thea Boyson, and a few friends at Disneyland. That's kind of sweet. All right. Except MrBeast, real name Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Jimmy decided to pay Disneyland to close the park for his date. He forked out $500,000 to get a private Disneyland, just for one night, and that included an evening-ending parade of Disneyland characters for himself, his fiancée, and a few friends. And of course, he filmed it for YouTube. Now, if Mr. Jimmy had bought the park for one night and then brought in, 100 disadvantaged kids for the night of their lives, I'd be pretty darn impressed. And this, it reminds me of the time Charlie Sheen, he bought out the entire left field bleachers at Anaheim Stadium, hoping to catch a home run ball. Okay, that's right. In 1996, the actor bought 2,600 seats for an Angels-Tigers game. That cost actually only less than $10,000 because he got a group discount. He bought 2,600 seats so he and 3 buddies could try to fetch a home run ball. Sadly, there were no home runs hit that day, so Charlie went home empty-handed. But, I remember saying the same thing nearly 30 years ago that I'm saying today. Wouldn't it have been wonderful if Charlie Sheen bought out the entire bleacher section and brought 2,000 plus kids to their first Major League Baseball game? To this day, I refuse to watch a single episode of 2.5 Men in protest of Sheen's actions. By the way, talking about Charlie Sheen, it reminds me of something I've been meaning to say for quite a while. I am on the Epstein list, and it was worth it. Some good times. Okay, I feel a lot better now. Whew. Let's move from money to power and madness. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I felt like Howard Cosell there for a moment. Marjorie Taylor Greene. By the way, before we get to her latest indiscretion, let me ask this. She's been elected in Georgia to Congress 3 times. Who is losing to her? Is she running unopposed? Is she running against an illiterate, blindfolded wildebeest? Just to bring you up to date on MTG's resume, on her bona fides. She believes the 9/11 attacks were a hoax. She tried to overturn the 2020 presidential election. She's a white supremacist, and she's anti-Semitic. This month, during a 1-minute, 43-second video that shows her repeatedly shooting unspecified targets with her M249 Saw Para machine gun, she tells us she is fighting for faith, families, and freedom, and she announces that she's giving away her M249 to one lucky patriot. That's right. Just go to her website for details, and you could have a shiny Marjorie Taylor Greene M249 machine gun for free. About 125 people in the United States die from gun-related injuries daily. That's somebody shot to death every 5 hours, every day of the year, and the Congresswoman is holding a machine gun giveaway. Plus, MTG's slogan now, and it's on the end of her video, her slogan now is Save America, Stop Communism. Dang. I must be looking for communists in all the wrong places because I haven't run into one for a long, long time. Honestly, is there a serious communist threat right now in America? Because I will not venture out there if there is. Thank God for Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Thank God for Amazon and DoorDash. Earlier this year, the South Lawn of the White House turned into a temporary Tesla showroom. That's when convicted felon Donald Trump and Earth CEO Elon Musk were best buds. So what is next in the desecration of the executive mansion, the so-called People's House? Well, the failed casino owner says he's bringing UFC action to the White House grounds in the next year. President Trump announced plans to bring a UFC fight card to the White House outdoors with up to 25,000 spectators. Conor McGregor, who hasn't even been in a ring for 4 years, immediately wrote, "Count me in." Trump wants the UFC in D.C. as part of the festivities to celebrate America's 250th birthday next year. I have a much more modest goal. I would like there to still be in America to celebrate America's 250th birthday next year.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Speaking of America, I was in America as a place as you could be. I spend every summer in Las Vegas at the World Series of Poker. Just got back from another trip there, and I got no good news to report. Bad summer for me. Forget that it's really hot. Forget that there's incredible crowds. Forget that you cannot walk on the strip without bumping shoulders with somebody else, without getting pickpocketed or having to be taken off the strip because they wheel you in and out of retail areas and up and down escalators. Poker-wise, I played 6 World Series of Poker tournaments. I cashed in 0. 0 for 6. Now, each of these tournaments costs at least $1,500. Now, I'm not rich or wealthy. Or really, I'm not really well off. So I'm not losing all that money myself. I do as many poker players do. I have friends of mine back me up to 50% of the tournament. So then, if I lose $1,500 in the tournament, I'm only losing $750, and they all lose whatever they put in up to $750. And then if I win money, and I used to cash back in the old days, when I was the new kid in town, then they get a percentage of what I win, dollar for dollar. So it's a good deal for both sides. It protects you against a bad summer. I had a really bad summer. It was so bad that I decided I was going to penalize myself. I was going to punish myself. I wanted to feel the pain. So I decided, with no cameras around, no YouTube, not looking for publicity, that I was going to walk home from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. Do you realize that's 275 miles? A lot of it through the desert. And I happened to pick a day in which it was 107 degrees. Pretty hot. I did the right thing. I hydrated before, put a bottle of water in my pocket, and I started walking. I'm pretty proud of myself. I got nearly 3 miles before I just ran out of steam, and I happened to run out of steam in front of South Point Casino. So I went in there, and I lost more money, but I got a $1.50 hot dog. South Point Casino, during the day, they offer a pretty good $1.50 hot dog. It's so good that they have a limit of 3 per person because people want these hot dogs. $1.50 at South Point for a hot dog. I had a hot dog there. I took an Uber back into Las Vegas, and I drove home like a normal person. But as I told you, it's really, really crowded there. The poker industry is really healthy. I mean, there were poker players crawling everywhere in Las Vegas, playing a million different tournaments, playing a million different cash games. And the question I always have, and it's always come up for me for any form of gambling, where does the money keep coming from? Because it's just like with the lottery. In the lottery, where people just, they line up to buy these tickets, almost everybody loses. And in poker, almost everybody loses. If you do the math, in either game, whether you're playing tournaments or in cash. Let me remind you again, for those of you not familiar with a tournament, you put in an entry fee, let's say of $100. Okay? 15% of the players end up making money in that tournament. So that means that 85% of the players walk away with nothing. If 85% of the tournament players are walking away with nothing, as you can see pretty easily without having an advanced mathematical degree, almost everybody's going to lose almost all the time. And then in a cash game, I prefer cash games, but cash games are raked. That means that the card room or casino that's running it, they take money out of every pot. So let's just do it simply. Even if 10 people sit down with $100,000, That's $1 million on the table. And they're just taking $1 out of every pot. If the game never ends and they play 1 million hands, eventually all 10 players are broke and the $1 million, $1 at a time, is down the chute. How can you win? Where does the money come from? I keep playing. I win more than I lose, but it's hard to win. It thrills me anytime I can bring good news to all of you on Gambling Mad, for it is dark and cloudy and ominous out there. The apocalypse is coming, but until then, we can still get a hot dog at South Point Casino in Las Vegas for $1.50. And we can still get a hot dog and a soft drink at Costco. And that's not even the good news. In 2013, 12 long years ago, Costco converted its food court fountain business from Coca-Cola products to Pepsi. This was a sad, sad day for the Chad family. As some of you might know, Coke is on my Mount Rushmore of soft drinks, and Diet Coke, or now Coca-Cola Zero, on the Mount Rushmore of diet soft drinks. Well, Costco is bringing the old band back together. Later this year, Coke and Coca-Cola products again will return to the Costco food court. Coke is back, baby! Yeah! And Costco's famed $1.50 hot dog and soft drink deal will return to its real glory days. Now, I usually try, when I'm competing, to win or lose with grace. But I've got to say this. In your face, Diet Pepsi! No more Diet Pepsi. Bye-bye, Diet Pepsi. Bye-bye, Diet Pepsi. Love it. By the way, Costco, they made another mistake, which they're not going to correct on the hot dog part. First, they replaced that. They had Hebrew National hot dogs, which are great for a while, and they replaced them with their own hot dog, which, to tell you the truth, was pretty much interchangeable. But then they also had a Polish sausage on the menu. Polish sausage and a soft drink for $1.50. So I would get one hot dog and one Polish sausage. They've removed the Polish sausage a few years ago. I loved getting one hot dog, one Polish sausage. That's $3 plus tax. You actually get 2 cups for the drink, and I'd give away one of the cups to somebody if they needed it. And then I put on the mustard and the grated onions that they have. And then because I'm an idiot, because I love doing this, I would take one out of the bag, and I know which one I was taking out first. And I take a bite into it, and I go, that's the Polish sausage. It's like flipping a corner, which one I was going to eat first. That's the limited nature of my life. And I'd eat the sausage first, and I'd eat the hot dog next, and I'd be pretty full for at least 2 or 3 hours.
Yum.
Before we wrap up, I'm going to say this one time and one time only. Throwing at batters in baseball games has got to stop, and it's got to stop yesterday. In a recent Padres-Dodgers series, 8 times a batter was hit by a pitch. This is known what they call a beanball battle. Once you hit our guy, then we're going to hit your guy. And it goes on until eventually both teams, all the players roll out of their dugouts and they go to fight each other on the field. Now, the fights themselves don't concern me much. Hardly anyone ever hits anyone in those fights. They just kind of mill about the pitcher's mound and they gossip about good-looking women in the stands. It's what comes before the fight, which is rather dismaying. And that's what I'm talking about, these beanballs. When you throw a baseball at 95 miles per hour at somebody, you can hurt them badly. You could end their career. You even could take their life away. This type of behavior should have been backward thinking in 1925. Forward ourselves to 2025, and because we have evolved so far intellectually, it should be obvious that this is insane. I mean, off the field, would you throw a large rock towards somebody's head? I can think of maybe 5 people who believe that's acceptable, and 3 of them are in Congress, and another couple are in the White House. That'll do it for another edition of Gambling Mad with Norm and Chad. Hope to see you again next time. And remember, if you're going to roll the dice, make sure they are loaded. Let's go over the National Hockey League's regular season history, shall we? In 1917, teams played 22 games. In 1919, they played 24 games. By 1926, it was up to 44. In 1931, 48 games. In 1942, 50 games. In 1946, 60 games. In 1947, 70 games. In 1967, 74 games. In 1970, 78 games. In 1974, 80 games. Since 1995, the regular season has been 82 games. Now the NHL says it will expand to 84 games. No. Only one league should ever consider playing year-round, and that's the National Football League. And they would do it if the players allowed it. Do we need more NHL? No. We need 2 more Columbus Blue Jackets games every season, like Elon Musk needs 2 more children every September. No more hockey. No more hockey. No more hockey, or I will go gambling mad. Yeah, good job, Luke.
Gambling Mad with Norm and Chad is written by Norm and Chad and ghost written by Norm and Chad. Executive producers are John Scheinberg and Rick Barrio-Dill. Produced by Norman Chad and Rick Barrio-Dill. Our associate producers are Bree Khoury and Asher Friedberg, and edited by Asher Friedberg with studio facilities at 360 Pod Studios, Beverly Hills.